Okay, so today I'm going to work on replacing the valve cover gasket, which is the gasket that goes around this valve cover. The reason is, with age and mileage, a lot of these silicas you see on these tabs here, okay, here, possibly at the front here, at the back here, if you see oil around those areas, that means your valve cover gasket is starting to leak. Um, in my case, it's not so much these areas, but in fact are the internal holes for the spark plugs inside. So there are 4 holes, each with gasket, and if you see oil when you take out the coil packs, little bit of oil at the end of the coil pack, that is an indication of the gasket inside those holes leaking. I'm gonna film this in stages. So first stage is to remove all the components on the valve cover, then remove these various bolts. There are 2 types, okay, type 1 and type 2, and the third type is the one here with another small gasket, 2 of them. So the first stage is basically remove the PCV holes and this one as well. And actually, first of all, remove the negative terminal of the battery, okay? Because we're dealing with the coil pack electrical equipment here. So remove the negative terminal of the battery. Then these hoses. Then start removing the coil packs, unplug these plugs, take the coils out, and to remove the rail, you remove this bolt and this 10mm bolt there in there. Okay, then followed by all these bolts around the valve cover. Okay, so I took the coil packs off, and as you can see the oil around here. That's a sign of showing where the cover gasket is leaking. It's not very much, but of course, if I don't do it now, it's going to continue, and oil will start to collect in those wells where the spark plugs and the coil goes. So the next step is to start removing the bolts around the valve cover gasket. These 10mm bolts, and pry the cover out with a large flathead screwdriver, and that should be it. There's another reason I want to change the valve cover gasket. It's because I want to check the timing chain. So this baby has 100,000 miles on the clock. Only partial service history, so I'm not sure how well the engine has been maintained by the 2 previous owners, and therefore I want to do a visual inspection of the timing chain, and then press the timing chain down to see how tight it is, and that is a test for the condition of the timing chain tensioner. So you'll see that in a bit after I remove these bolts and pry the cover off. Okay, so I managed to pry off the cover, and then I clean the flange here around the edges to make sure it's nice and smooth and oil free. I just cleaned it with a wire brush, and then visual inspection of the timing chain. There is a little bit of slack here, and then I initially thought that is a bad sign, indication of the tensioner not working properly, not providing the right tension. However, I did a little bit of research on the internet and looking at YouTube videos. Apparently, it is not the case. It depends on the position of this chain, so it goes round. Some positions it is tight, and some positions it is a little bit slack like this. So you see, if you actually get a 90 millimeter bolt and start cranking the engine at the bottom, and make this chain rotate clockwise slowly like this, you see that the chain will become taut and then loose, taut and then loose in a cyclical manner like that, right? So it's not a bad timing chain. And doing a visual inspection, the chain is very in a very good condition, and also the teeth over here on both cams are in perfect condition, so no damage to either. And then over here on the right, the general condition of the rest of the top of the engine shows that there's no sludge or very little sludge, i.e. I can still see the golden color of the components here, around here. So in a really bad case of a sludge buildup, you see sludge everywhere on the camshaft, inside here, on the shims there. So it looks like my engine's not too bad, since it's 20 years old and it's got 100,000 miles on the clock. Yeah, it's a little bit of surface sludge, very tiny bit on the inside of the casing, but yeah, not bad. So overall, I'm quite happy with this. So maybe perhaps next time when I do change the engine oil, I'll just flush it with some detergent that you can buy, and that hopefully will get rid of some of these surface sludge stains. But it's not necessary. I don't think it's fine. It's best to leave it. You know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So that's it. Now I'm ready to put some RTV here and here to make sure the gap is sealed properly, then put the cover back on. Of course, I've got to clean the cover and attach the gasket on the cover first before I do that. But yeah, it looks good. Okay, so I took the valve cover off. Look inside. It's pretty disgusting. A lot of gunk, sludge from lack of frequent oil changes from the previous owner. So I'm just gonna give it a rough brush with a wire brush, and just clean off as much as I can. Not going to spend too much time on this. I need to put the cover back on. So what was supposed to take an hour and a half job is taking longer, because I need to clean this sludge off. So probably going to take about 3 hours. So I'm kind of halfway into it now. Okay, so managed to spend the last hour cleaning cleaning the sludge that's stuck on the inside of the cover, valve cover. Now the next step is to attach the new gasket on here. That's where it goes. Okay. My old gasket was leaking around these 4 holes where the spark plug and coil goes. Now you'll find that some areas they're tight, but some sections is quite loose, like this, you see. So there's a good chance when you try to put the valve cover back onto the engine like this, some sections might fall out. Okay, like that. So what I would do, and a lot of people do in this case, is to use RTV, which is a high temperature silicone sealant. Applied RTV here around the edges, especially around those 4 holes, to make sure the gasket is stuck on nice and tight, so nothing will go wrong when you turn it upside down and put it back on the engine. Yep, so I'm now waiting for the RTV to dry, so it's nicely stuck on. It's not going to go anywhere. So give it about half an hour to dry, then it's ready to be replaced back on the engine. Right, so I've put everything back together, and it looks like I haven't missed anything. All the coils are plugged back in, nicely secured using 2 bolts there. That one, yeah. And okay, so let's go back to the valve cover. So I've applied the RTV here. When I put the cover back on, a bit of it has been squeezed out. Also at the back there. Hopefully that would be enough to stop any leaks from the joint between the timing chain cover and the main engine case. And also, last thing is to plug the negative terminal of the battery back in. Of course, all the PCV valve and this hose here. Oh yeah, let me check the oil cap, engine oil cap is nicely secured, and that's it. Job done.